you ever been shopping in a game store and you just stopped and thought, you know what, I could do this? I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to have my own game store. It would be so cool to work every day amongst the things that I just love and cherish. Well, here's a couple guys who did just that.
Hey guys, welcome back to NerdCrave. Today I've got a special treat for you. I'm here with my friends from Retro Chase Games. This is a brand new store that's just opened up in the last couple of months. And I had some questions for the guys here today about the process of opening a video game store for the very first time. So, guys, introduce yourselves.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Jorge.
Nice to meet you guys. Of course, I've known Bobby for a while. Jorge I just met today, but I've known Bobby for a while from around the local collecting community, but from swap meets and things like that. But so after a couple of months, guys, of the reality setting in from opening a store, is there anything is it what you thought it was going to be, or is it totally different?
We sort of had a general idea. I've been managing a video game store for the last 3 years, so I had an idea of what I was getting into. I learned a lot through my previous job managing that store, and just through the community. A lot of guys who own stores were very helpful in just giving me advice and helping me along.
So do you feel like your experience as a reseller and working at another store really prepared you for this? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And how did you come up with the name Retro Chase Games?
We had a long list.
A long list, yeah.
Yeah, of working titles, and it just kind of fell into place. We had probably 20, 30 names. We kept going back and forth with them, and then eventually one day we just went, this really works. We like this name. And,
Well, you've always kind of been the guy that's out there on the hunt, so the idea of, chasing the games or whatever kind of fits for you, I think. You kind of asked me not really to say too much about this, but we'll throw it in there and we can edit it in later if we want to. You've relocated your entire life, not just moving the store to another city, but you actually moved here. Was there an opportunity here in Barrie that you were seeking, or was it just kind of...
Well, we kind of felt that Barrie as a city is growing at an exponential rate. It's insane, the amount of new buildings that are going up, new housing developments, and it's a very young crowd that is moving up here. So we felt it was a good opportunity, and we thought there was room for another video game store in this location. We looked at a lot of places within Barrie, up at the college, the downtown area, but once we saw this location, we really fell in love with it.
Yeah, it felt very urban, very family-oriented kind of location.
Pre-COVID, we actually had a swap meet here in Barrie a couple of years ago, and it seemed like the turnout was really good. Did that have any kind of bearing on your opinion of Barrie as a market?
I don't really think so, because it's the biggest show in Southern Ontario. There's no question. It's basically everybody coming from all over Southern Ontario, and people are even traveling from Northern Ontario to get to this show. We feel that show is going to be a very good opportunity in the spring when they do announce a date, because it'll give us a really strong platform to advertise on.
Yeah.
Everybody locally will then hopefully find out about us, and we're going to go,
and
pretty big with it.
Yeah, and we also feel that word about our store is spreading very fast through the community and through the neighborhood. We have a lot of people.
Have you really done much in the way of traditional advertising in the local market?
A lot of it has just been social media. We have done some Kijiji ads and things like that just to get the word out. We did a few promotions. We gave away a PlayStation 5 when we first opened up. We've given away an Xbox One S just recently.
Nice.
So, a Series S, I should say. So we've been doing stuff like that, and we're very lucky. People who worked at EB Games, and one of the managers at an EB Games has come in here and said, this is such a great experience. We've been getting advertising from locals. Anybody who walks into an EB Games and asks for something older that they don't carry, they're referring us, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's really
it
great.
It has a lot to do, I believe, as well with younger people getting into the retro scene quite a bit. And, they go to local EB Games, but they don't find retro games, right? So they know to come here and pick them up.
So I know you guys have been buying and selling for a long time, reselling on, the Facebook groups and at swap meets and stuff like that. How much inventory did you come into this with, or did you have to acquire a lot of inventory specifically for the store?
We're both collectors to begin with. First and foremost, we were both collectors. We had amassed, we don't want to talk about numbers, but we had very large collections. And then on top of that, we were quite lucky. A good friend of ours had mentioned that a store was closing in Kitchener. So we went in, we made an offer, we purchased the stock, the fixtures, and that was kind of our starting point. We basically put it all into storage. We left it there until we found a location. And once that all came together, his collection, my collection, all came into the store along with what we purchased.
And as well, we've been lucky enough to purchase some
Pretty large collections.
Prior to opening the store, and since after as well, we've been like it that way where people can communicate with us and let us know that
they're looking to sell.
And now that you own a store and you're saying your personal collections are here, like where do you draw the line between what you want for yourself and what you've got available for the store? Do you have that kind of mentality that if you sell something now, you'll probably get it back later through the store, or how do you really balance that?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for Jorge, but me, I just look at it as a rotating collection now.
Right.
Any day of the week, if I really want to play something, I can pick it off the shelf, take it home. Why? Because we own it.
Right.
I do still want to keep individual items. Jorge just recently kept an item that came into the store, and we just work it out between us.
Yeah.
Jorge still has quite a bit of stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he's always working on the next thing and finding something. When it's too good to pass up, you might take it home.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's the store and our inventory that the most important. And if it's something that we feel, and I think we both feel the same way, that we need to have it at the store, all that is out the window, and we just keep it.
Because I think that would be one of the harder things for a lot of collectors that might want to open the store, is the idea of parting with their collection, needing to provide that as some inventory or a startup, so to speak.
I get that. I mean, we've said it many times. Everything in here is for sale. I'll sell you the sneakers off my feet if you got the right number.
Yeah.
So it's, you can find stuff again.
So what would you say have been some of the biggest challenges in making this happen, like finding a location, and obviously we don't want to go into finances specifically, but what were some of the challenges along the road?
Location was one of the most challenging parts, just because neither one of us is from the Barrie area, so
right.
We are not too familiar with it, but we did do our due diligence, and we traveled quite a bit.
Yeah,
looking around.
There was a lot of trips up here.
Yeah, we did quite a bit of those, and and finally, I think where we settled was, we're looking for mainly a nice, family, oriented area with a strong community and a lot of, more like in a neighborhood area as opposed to in a commercial area.
Right, yeah. So, like I noticed coming in here, it's a little bit of a quieter area, but it's also a little more upscale. It's clean.
Yeah, it is a very nice neighborhood. We are very close to the major streets and the highway. We've also opened up a booth at the 400 Flea Market, which is literally 10-15 minutes from here.
Right.
Which gives you an idea of how close we are to the 400, which is the main road or highway that takes you from Toronto up north.
Right, yeah.
So we're on the Cottager route. There's a lot of people who travel this route.
And do you maintain that booth year-round now?
Yes.
Or?
Yep.
Okay.
We got lucky. We were turned on to a realtor who was amazing.
Yeah.
This guy, from start to finish, he helped us find locations, and once we settled on this one, he
made it happen
very fast. So
yeah, there was a few hiccups before that where we found a location and we had our heart broken essentially by the management. They felt like we were not going to be a good fit in that particular location, but this guy, he was very, very good.
Yeah, and I think it all worked out for the best.
Yeah.
So for those of every game collector, I think, secretly has this dream that they would love to open a video game store someday. So what piece of advice would you guys give to anyone who wants to follow in these footsteps and open their own store someday?
So just do it. I mean, there's nothing, it sounds cliche, there's nothing to do, but just go ahead and do it. And you've got to just take that leap. But you also have to know what you're doing, right? You have to have the work ethic. Jorge and I, from the day we got the keys to the store to the day that we opened, we did 10 to 15 hour days every day for 2.5 months before we opened. I think we had 1 day off each.
Yeah.
And now we're doing 10 plus hour days every day, no staff, it's a full-time gig, and even on our days off, we're running around trying to get stuff, shipping, all kinds of things.
But again, it's, in my personal experience, I known I wanted to do this since I was very small. It was just a matter of when the time was going to be right, and when I was going to be ready. And once I made a decision, I knew I was ready to do it, and I know I can commit to it, and give it 100%, 110 if I have to. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This guy's a real workhorse.
So fun question, guys, and I ask this virtually every video game store that I go into, but what are some of the most popular systems that people trade stuff in for right now? What are people trading into your store right now?
I mean, right now it's a crazy time because everything is so all over the place. People are trading in items because the values are high. People are trading in, their regular common stuff that you would see every day. But I mean, recently our bigger acquisitions have been GameCube, N64. We bought some really nice PS2 stuff recently.
Yeah.
But again, it's a total. You never know. Every day is completely
Different stuff every day. And then on the flip side of that, what are people most excited about buying?
N64 stuff, I would say.
Yeah, N64?
Yeah. So, and as soon as they come into the store, they see our inventory for N64, and they just.
Now, would you say that's been a growing trend over the last year or two, or do you think that's hype because of the Nintendo Online stuff, or?
It's hard to say. I mean, I try not to follow too much of what's happening online. It's just gamers wanting to get the stuff that they had when they were kids.
Yeah.
And I think N64, GameCube, that's sort of the generation that's really hot right now because those are the kids who have disposable income. And I mean, your everyday stuff is still going to sell. You have somebody come in and buy PS2 games, and you have somebody coming in for Switch because obviously that's popular.
Yeah.
It's different every day. I can go to conventions and I'll bring the same 12 totes. They obviously have a few different things because I have to restock, but different stuff will sell at every show. Different things will sell it every day at the store. So
and it's the same thing at the market. I'm mainly work in the market, and you have to know what you have, and it's a little bit of everything that sells, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's obvious arcs that you go through where certain things are popular and other things aren't. And a few years ago, it seemed like PS1 was really popular, and that seemed to have kind of died off now.
the prices haven't slowed down though.
That's true, yeah. So guys, just take a moment and tell for people out there where we can find your store, what your hours are, and where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, so we're at 2 Marsellus Drive, Unit 3 in Barrie. We're open 11 till 9 every single day of the week. Also, our Flea Market location is open Saturday, Sunday at the 400 Flea Market. We're pretty easy to find over there. I just tell everybody, look for the CRTs playing some video games. Yeah. Other than that, Retro Chase Games on Instagram and The Real Retro Chase Games on Facebook.
All right, and I will post links to that social media pages in the description of the video, so check down below for that. And thanks so much, guys, for having me up here today. We did a bit of an epic trade. I was in the middle of trading in some PS3 stuff, and I picked up some cool stuff here. I would highly recommend this store. There's all kinds of cool stuff here, so come on down and check it out. Thanks a lot, guys.
No worries at all.
You.
We'll see you soon.
Stay classy.